And Tweety asked me to speak today a little bit about Josh and Tweety as a couple, and a little bit about our family. So Tweety and Josh have known each other for a very long time. Who would have thought that my sister would have met her soulmate during her sophomore year of high school in Japanese class? And ever since that year in Japanese, it has been an adventure for Tweety and Josh as a couple, in love, for the love for each other. Tweety's the kind of person who has always known what she wanted to do in life. She's driven, she has a free spirit, and has a passion for what she loves. Once Tweety gets an idea in her head, she'll get on that internet, she'll do a thorough research, she'll get her plan, she'll consult Josh with her plans, and she'll get it done. And it's vice versa. Josh does the same with Tweety. From Tweety receiving her undergraduate degree from Washington University, then moving on to completing a doctorate program in biological science at Harvard University, and then doing a full 180 degrees, and now is doing floral design. She's always been successful at everything that she's done. And Josh has also started a very successful web hosting business with some very close friends from college. And together, both Tweety and Josh have always achieved and fulfilled their visions in life. After Tweety and Josh got married, they decided to hold off starting a family. I had asked Tweety when she would start having children, and her response to me was after 5 years. So during those 5 years, Tweety and Josh have been the best aunt and uncle to my kids, Brandon and Alyssa. In my mind, Tweety and Josh have treated Brandon and Alyssa as children of their own. Brandon and Alyssa love their Tweety Ai and Uncle Josh very, very much. And when they heard that Tweety and Josh were expecting their first baby, Brandon and Alyssa were thrilled. They were going to have a second cousin, and they weren't just going to have cousin Salt anymore. My kids began preparing for this baby by helping me to go shopping. We picked out clothes, baby things, everything that Tweety just didn't think to buy. In fact, Tweety didn't start preparing for this baby until probably 7 or 8 months into her pregnancy. My kids also helped pick out stuffed animals in their bedrooms for Tweety. Alyssa had even agreed to return some of Tweety's old Snoopies, but except for Belle, which she's negotiated to keep. Brandon and Alyssa had even selected names for the baby. Their top 3 picks were Indiana for Indiana Jones, Cody for Commander Cody from Star Wars and the Clone Wars, and Max, a boy that Alyssa will marry when she grows up. So Tweety and Josh respectfully declined these lovely choices for names and decided on the name Wren. Like Tweety's other decisions, she's put a lot of thought and time into selecting the name Wren. Tweety has always had a love for nature, from earth tone colors to wildflowers and birds. She saw birds as being carefree and free-spirited. They were creatures who were able to fly anywhere in the world. The sky was the limit. Tweety also told me she was looking for a one-syllable name, like Josh, like Jones. However, the names Lark and Crow had a bit of a harsh ring to it. So she decided on Wren Jones, the perfect name. I did a little bit of research last night about the wren, and the wren is a small bird with a brown color, subdued brown overall with darker brown wings. The wren is known to be bubbly and energetic, just like their songs, hopping quickly through shrubs, low tree branches, and pausing to deliver cheerful songs. In Carolyn Sherwin Bailey's short story, How the Wren Became King, the tiny, humble brown bird outflies the eagle in the sky when the little bird hid himself in the eagle's wings and carried up into the sky until he was ready to fly himself. That same little bird later was clever enough to find a hole, a mouse hole, to creep himself deep into that hole, deeper than any of the other birds. As such, overcoming both challenges to become the king of the birds. So the wren, the little brown bird, gave himself two names, as Robert had just mentioned, the Hedge King and Wren. So baby Wren Jones, like the little brown bird in the story, is flying higher than any of the birds in the sky. He's looking down upon us right now, looking at his loving parents, Tweenie and Josh, knowing how much they love him, and how much his grandparents, his aunts, his uncles, and his cousins and friends also all love him, as he is seeing all of us for the very first time. Wren, while continuing to fly higher into heaven, he will not look back, as he will always know that we will always love him, and he will always love us.
Especially, I want to say, good friends of Josh and Tweenie, who live in California, who are close. Please continue to keep them in your regular plans. Your regular plans. I want to say, reiterate to Josh and Tweenie, that a terrible event like this reminds others of tragedies that they've had and lived through. For example, my first child died, and the circumstances were very different. But I was only 19. But of course, I've gone on to have the 4 most wonderful, beautiful children in the world, speaking purely objectively. And Josh and Vera have gone on to become 9 great spouses. And I know, as we would say, that you're all part of the solution, not the problems of the world. A wise friend of mine, Karen, who I was with when I got both the happy news and the tragic news about baby, told me that I should write him a letter. And I did. And I want to read it to you. By the way, I think it's a very therapeutic thing to do, and I recommend it to each of you. Karen lost her son a couple years ago, and so did a friend of hers who wrote a wonderful poem that I'll also read. This was before I knew his name was Wren. So it was Dear Baby Josh. It was on Thursday. I really have been looking forward to meeting you. Now I really hope there is a heaven, and we'll meet there with so many people who love you. All the dozens, like all the dozens left behind. Your life will have such meaning and positive ramifications, I'm sure. You're so loved, as are your parents. God bless you and our whole family.